Hi guys, welcome to the Football with Alan Smith podcast. My name is Mohammed Abdul Hamid Alan Smith, and it's time again. Let's dissect the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the final round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, the 2026 edition that will be held in USA, Canada, and Mexico. We now know that Nigeria are going to be taking on Lesotho as well as Benin Republic. It's been drama. It's been plenty of suspense leading up into this final round of qualifiers. Nigeria, the Super Eagles, it all boils down to this particular moment. Fans have been looking forward to see where we will finish after the qualifiers or after the grouping just some years ago. Now we are left with two games to decide the fate of a nation. And Nigeria is going to be there at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That's the question on everyone's lips. So we missed out on the 2022 edition, not because we were good enough, but because of a lot of issues that affected our footballers at that period. And now we are back in that same situation yet again. Three managers have handled Nigerian qualifiers during the course of this FIFA World Cup qualifying windows for the team. It's going to be Lesotho and like Benin Republic as well, our neighbors, who are going to be the two opponents Nigeria will be playing against in this final round of qualifiers. Like most qualifiers, it's not in the hands of Nigerians. It's not in the hand of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We'll have to win our games and then hope that results elsewhere go our way. Nigerians will always say, why do we have to put ourselves in position like this? Bringing out the calculators and hoping and praying that result elsewhere goes our way. I mean, after games that we've played, Nigerians are currently sitting just with 11 points from the games that we've played. It's not good enough. That's what most fans have said. It's not good enough that we only won 2 games from our qualifiers and we drew the other fixtures. We lost 2, drew 3, and won 2. So it hasn't really been good enough, if you ask me. But at the end of it all the fans care about, all everyone cares about, is how we can sneak our way into the World Cup, into the teams that have qualified for the World Cup. So far so good. It looks very, very doubting right now, but they say in football anything can happen. Over the last few weeks, over the last few months, I mean, leading up to this final window, we've had several persons, several ex-players, legend of the game, speak about Nigeria. I personally have spoken to several ex-internationals about Nigeria's chances of getting this World Cup ticket. It didn't start today. It started long ago, but as it is right now, it all boils down to this key moment. 2 wins is needed. 2 wins are actually needed, but like I said, even if we win, it's not in our hands. It's not in our hands. We'll have to hope that South Africa actually loses or even draw one of their 2 games, which will be against Rwanda and Zimbabwe for the Bafana side. But first off, on Friday at the Peter Mugaba Stadium in the city of Polokwane, where Nigeria will be taking on Lesotho. Everyone seems to be ready for this fixture. The team have started training. They've arrived Polokwane. They've started training. They had their first training session on Tuesday evening right there in the city of Polokwane. They'll be hoping to get the result and hope that same evening, because the games will be going on simultaneously, because the South Africans will be taking on Zimbabwe at same time as the Nigerian game against Lesotho. All of these games will be happening in South Africa there. So I believe the fans of the game will also be keeping their eyes on the Nigerian game of the Super Eagles as well. But Nigeria, we need to focus on beating Lesotho first, 1 game at a time. That is what some of the players have been speaking about, especially after the point deduction by the FIFA disciplinary committee. Those South Africa has said they are going to be appealing that one. But for now, I mean, this was an error they made, and the error has opened or thrown that group wide open. And the Super Eagles know that they need to take their chances. The Benin Republic side are also not left out. Rwanda, who are also going to be an opponent for the Bafana side, are also very much in with a chance. So as it is right now, 4 teams going into that final group game with the hope and belief that it could be them going to the 2026 FIFA World Cup in USA, Canada, and Mexico. But as it is right now, the Super Eagles are our main focus. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, our nation, our team, is our own focus. I mean, the players have arrived yesterday evening. 17 of them train. Victor Osimhen is available. Remember, he missed Nigeria's last game, which was against South Africa back then. Just only in September in Bloemfontein, but he's back and ready. He has returned back from injury, played in the Istanbul derby against Besiktas over the weekend, and now he has teamed up with his teammate right there in South Africa, where they will be taking on Lesotho. For Lesotho, they are down and out, but they can actually come be party poopers. I mean, they can actually make a huge statement in deciding who gets the place at the next FIFA World Cup. So it's a massive game for the Super Eagles. I mean, when you look at the table, South Africa are currently with 14 points, Benin Republic with 14 points in second place, Nigeria in third place with 11 points, same points as Rwanda, but we have a better goal difference than the Rwandans. So as it is right now, going into this game, going into this fixture, is a thing about pride, is a thing about determination. It's about, I mean, like I said, I've spoken to ex-internationals. I've spoken to the likes of Aloy Agu. I've spoken to the likes of Godfrey Obambona. These guys won trophies, won laurels with the Super Eagles during their active days as internationals with the Nigerian national team. And they said, this is now or never. This is the moment these players, an opportunity has been presented to them, especially after the point deduction that was suffered by South Africa for fielding an ineligible player in Toboho Mokoena in that game against Lesotho back in March. So as it is right now, the Super Eagles need to give their all. They've been questioned about the mentality of these players. They've been questioned about the commitment of some of those players, especially for players that were born outside Nigeria. We've heard from ex-international questioning their commitment about their adaptation to African football. But I disagree with some of these ex-international, because I think with these players that were born abroad, with these foreign-born players, they've contributed a whole lot. They are, for me, even the players that are even doing more to help the country get to the World Cup. We saw at the last Nations Cup when Nigeria finished runner-up to Ivory Coast. Troost Ekong was the man of that tournament. He was the player of the tournament. In that final, he was playing with an injured knee. You talk about Olaoluwa Aina, another player who was injured but had to play, had to sacrifice a big part of his body to play in that final, even though he kept on being torn apart by Simon Andingra. But that one is a story for another day. This is a player that, even though he knows he's injured, he's still willing to give his all. Alexander Iwobi, he's always ready to play for Nigeria, even though he was also born abroad. We know his uncle, the legendary JJ Okucha. But Alexander Iwobi has been able to carve a career for himself with the national team. His appearance is up there. I mean, he has racked up plenty of appearances playing for Nigeria. And then you talk about Ademola Lookman. Ever since his debut during the last World Cup qualifiers. Yes, his debut was the last World Cup qualifier where we played against Ghana back in 2022. And he found it very, very difficult. But he has adapted. He has become one of the nation's best player, and it's no surprising that he's the best player in Africa as it stands right about now. So to question those players' commitment, I think it's just unfair, and I think it's just cheap analysis. A lot of things have gone wrong with Nigerian football. We in the inside know that things have not really gone as planned. Things have not really gone as planned from players. Yes, there have been one or two issues. The players cannot be just the blame of where we are right now cannot just be written off, because everyone needs to share among the blame, from the administrative side to the players to the coaches. The coaches, in terms of they haven't really done their job, especially and it all boils down to the administrative side. Let's be honest. It all boils down to the administrative side. We know how we've been able to take on these qualifiers. It's been stop-start for the team. 3 managers. We've had Josep Peserio take charge of games. We've had Finidi Georgia take charge of games. And now we have these days Eric Sekushel being the manager of the team. So you can see that the stability haven't been there. Every manager have come in, tried to switch things, tried to change things, and it has really hurt this team in terms of the qualification series. But we won't be having any kind of blame game right now. But for now, we'll focus on the 2 games that we have against Lesotho. Eric Shell, over the last 2 games, Nigeria have played haven't really been the best of performance. But you want to see these players allowed or being given the opportunity to express themselves, because these are players with flair, very good offensive team. The midfield is where the problem lacking with the Super Eagles, especially. Thank God we have Chrisantus Uche, who I am surprised hasn't really gotten enough playing time at his new club at Crystal Palace. But he's a player that I actually have the belief that he can actually stamp his authority in that team. He can create, he can score, he's strong, he's physical, the typical African kind of player that any manager will want to have in their team. So I think Eric Shell needs to be brave with his team. He doesn't need to cover in and start playing 3 or 4 defensive midfielder on that particular day. He has to be offensive. I mean, if you are going with Fred Ndidi, there is absolutely no need to actually start a Frank Onyeka in the team. Allow these players go into this game with the mindset that they need to score more, because at the end of it all, the number of goals, Nigeria have not scored enough goals during these qualifiers as well. These are some of the things that hurt the team. They haven't scored enough goals, so they need to get the goals. They also need to find a way to keep clean sheets. Not keeping clean sheet have really hurt us during the course of these qualifiers. From goalkeeping error to defensive issues, it has really hurt the team. But these last 2 games against Lesotho and also against Benin Republic, there is no room for error. Lesotho is a team that is coming out to, they've smelled blood. They know that Nigerian is, they know that the Super Eagles are actually very much at the edge right now. They know that the Super Eagles are in that cycle where they can actually make mistakes. And in football, when you are not looking at make mistakes, that is when you tend to make those mistakes. So I believe Lesotho will be smelling blood right now, and they want to be party poopers. They want to be the underdog story. But Nigeria know that going into that game, it is now or never. Those players, the majority of them, only 1 or 2 players from that team have played at the FIFA World Cup. Trust Nkong, Alex Iwobi, and even for Alex Iwobi, he was a big part player in the 2018 World Cup. So for most of those players, they are in their prime right about now, and they are in their peak of their career right now. So the next time the World Cup comes around in 2030, most of them will not have the legs to actually go all the way. Most of them will not be fully fit, or maybe, just maybe, some other persons might have taken their position in the national team. So who knows? So it's now or never for the team. They need to win their game, and then there are 2 games, because yes, it's not just Lesotho, then there is Benin Republic next week Tuesday as well. So they need to win their games, and also hope that maybe Rwanda or even Zimbabwe can actually throw a wheel in the spanner for South Africa. But South Africa have been very, very, very good during these qualifiers, and if they are able to get the ticket, I think they will have deserved it. But football is not about who deserves it. Football is all about a game. Football is a game of chances. Football is all about luck as well. I mean, you might have played the best football, but that doesn't mean that you will be the best team or you win the match at the end of it all. It's a cruel game. We've seen it happen several times. You might have fought hard from now till the end and think that you are going through, but the final whistle is what decide a game of football. So as far as there is still a chance for Nigeria to get to the World Cup, Nigerians will be hoping, Nigerians will be praying, and Nigerians will be rooting for this team. The Super Eagles, like I said, it is now or never for them. Go ahead and conquer. Nigeria is fully behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And this is the Football with Alan Smith podcast. And we've just done the preview of the last 2 games for the Super Eagles. It's against Lesotho on Friday. And then, Benin Republic on Tuesday against Guinea's Raw Benin Republic. So, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Like always, I'll be bringing you more updates on our channel. This is Football with Alan Smith. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you guys some other time. Bye-bye.